Welcome to Scream Stream, your portal to the darkest depths of horror. Join us for bone-chilling tales that will haunt your dreams and keep you checking over your shoulder. Dare to enter? Let's start the story. The night was as dark as ever in Blackmoor. The fog, thick and clinging, seemed to swallow the light of the pale moon. A chill hung in the air, filled with an eerie silence that seemed to echo with unsaid secrets. Lily sat in her room, her heart pounding against her chest. The nightmares had become a nightly ordeal, each one more terrifying than the last. Tonight, she had seen the faceless figure again, stalking her from the shadows. With a shudder, she pulled her coat tighter around her. She couldn't bear to be alone tonight. She needed her friends, the only ones who understood her plight. She slipped out of her house, heading towards their usual meeting spot. The group was already gathered when she arrived. The relief of seeing them was overwhelming. Together, they could face anything. That was their strength. That was their hope. They were all victims, their dreams invaded by the same faceless menace. It was a mystery they couldn't understand, a mystery they were determined to solve. They began to dig deeper into the secrets of Blackmoor. Lily and her friends discovered a series of assaults that had been silenced by the town's people. The victims were as terrified as they were. The realization was a cold, harsh blow. Their tormentor was among them. Their peaceful town was a facade, its tranquility a mask for the evil that lurked beneath. With each revelation, their nightmare grew darker. The predator was not just in their dreams, but in their midst. The friends were caught in a web of deceit. They had to act, had to unmask the predator. Time was not on their side. With each passing day, the terror grew, the danger more palpable. They were trapped in a nightmare that was all too real. The echoes of their silent screams haunted them. They had to fight back. They had to confront their deepest fears. In Blackmoor, trust was a luxury they couldn't afford. Everyone was a suspect. The friends knew they had to be careful, for their survival depended on it. They had to uncover the truth before it was too late. Their investigation led them to a secluded spot deep in the woods. It was here they found a clue, an object that could lead them to their tormentor. The terror was close, too close. The object was a mask, one that was eerily familiar. They had seen it in their dreams, worn by the faceless figure. It was a chilling realization. Their predator was not just a figment of their nightmares. They knew they were close, that the truth was within their grasp. Their determination was stronger than their fear. They wouldn't let the terror win. They were the victims, but they were also the hunters. The friends confronted their suspect, unmasking the predator. The face beneath the mask was one they knew, one they trusted. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than any fear. The truth was out. The reign of terror was over, but the scars remained. They were survivors, but they had lost their innocence. Blackmoor was forever changed, and so were they. Lily and her friends faced the aftermath of their ordeal. They were stronger, braver. They had faced the darkest corners of human nature and survived. They were no longer victims, but warriors. They had triumphed over the darkness that had threatened to consume them. They had found the strength to fight back. They had survived the shadows of Blackmoor. They were the beacon of hope in a town once shrouded in fear. The echo of their silent screams was a reminder of their ordeal, but also of their triumph. They had faced their deepest fears and emerged victorious. They were the survivors of Blackmoor, the warriors of the night. Lily looked at her friends, their faces illuminated by the pale moonlight. They were different now, changed by their ordeal, but they were stronger, resilient. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. Their ordeal had brought them closer, bound them together. They were not just friends, but a family. They had survived the darkness together, and together they would face whatever came next. Lily knew they had a long road ahead, but she also knew they could face it. They were survivors, after all. They had faced the shadows of Blackmoor and emerged victorious. They were ready for whatever lay ahead. The night was still dark in Blackmoor, the fog still thick, but there was a new light, a beacon of hope. It was the survivors, the warriors of the night. They had faced the darkness and won. As the sun rose, the darkness receded. The town of Blackmoor woke to a new day, a new beginning. The reign of terror was over. The survivors had won. They had faced the shadows and emerged victorious. As the echoes of their silent screams faded, a new sound emerged. It was the sound of hope, of victory. It was the sound of survivors. It was the sound of Blackmoor, reborn from the shadows. Lily watched as the sun painted the sky with hues of dawn. The shadows receded, revealing the town in a new light. It was a sight she would never forget. It was the dawn of a new era in Blackmoor. The survivors of Blackmoor had emerged victorious. They had faced the darkness and won. They had unmasked the predator and ended the reign of terror. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. The town was quiet, the silence no longer eerie but peaceful. The fog had lifted, revealing a town reborn. Blackmoor was no longer a town of shadows, but a town of survivors, a town of warriors. Lily and her friends had faced their deepest fears and emerged victorious. They were the survivors of Blackmoor, the warriors of the night. They were the beacon of hope in a town once shrouded in fear. They had faced the shadows of Blackmoor and won. They were the survivors, the warriors. They had faced their deepest fears and emerged victorious. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. Lily looked at her friends, their faces illuminated by the pale moonlight. They were different now, changed by their ordeal. But they were stronger, resilient. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. The survivors of Blackmoor had faced the darkness and won. They had unmasked the predator and ended the reign of terror. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor, the warriors of the night. As dawn broke, Lily and her friends stood together, victorious. The shadows of Blackmoor had been defeated. The reign of terror was over. The survivors stood tall, their silent screams now echoes of a nightmare past. They had faced the shadows and emerged victorious. They had unmasked the predator and ended the reign of terror. They were the survivors, the warriors. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. The survivors of Blackmoor stood tall, their silent screams now echoes of a nightmare past. They were the beacon of hope in a town once shrouded in fear. They were the true heroes of Blackmoor. As the dawn broke, Lily and her friends stood together, victorious. The reign of terror was over. Blackmoor was free, and they were the heroes who had made it possible. They were the survivors, the warriors, the true heroes of Blackmoor.